It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute. Comprehensive cutting-edge care giving you every reason to choose Hayes Med. United Rentals. Your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. VTI. Your John Deere dealer. With locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. VTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Royal Roofing. Give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. And Eagle, our community connected. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good Tuesday morning. Welcome into Tiger Talk, our second program of the football season. Certainly glad to have you a part of it here on this Tuesday morning. Normally we're on Mondays, but because of Labor Day yesterday, we pushed it back to Tuesday. We'll be back to a Monday routine the rest of the football season. So make that note in your calendar, but we certainly appreciate you joining us today. Hope everybody had a nice Labor Day. For those who had the day off, Fort Hays State football did not, as they gear up for another Thursday night game, first road game of the year, coming up Thursday in Pueblo against CSU Pueblo. We'll talk certainly more about that. We'll look back at last Thursday's opener to number 13 Angelo State, a 28-7 loss, and preview the Thunderwolves, the Tigers and CSU Pueblo renewing what was an old rivalry back in the RMAC days. Part 1, Tigers were in the RMAC a couple different times. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. It's a busy week for Fort Hays State University Athletics. The men's soccer team opening up at Rockhurst on Thursday. In fact, they've got an interesting schedule. They'll be at Rockhurst Thursday afternoon at 4 and then head on a bus and go to Pueblo. They'll be there on Saturday to play their second match of the year. So 2 road games, one to Kansas City, one to Pueblo. They were 13-4-4 a year ago, won the GAC postseason tournament, made the NCAAs, and advanced to the round of 32. Women's soccer, they're at Rockhurst on Friday, and then we'll host Northwestern Oklahoma State Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock out of the FHSU Soccer Stadium. Tigers coming off a 7-8-4 campaign last year in which they went through a lot of injuries, hoping to stay healthy this year. Volleyball at home. They're going to host back-to-back home weekend events. The new air conditioning at the Coliseum allows them to maybe do a little bit more early on, so they're going to host 2 tournaments. The first is this weekend, the Tiger Invitational, Friday and Saturday. Fort Hays State will play 4 matches. Cameron at 2 o'clock on Friday, Arkansas Tech at 7, and then Saturday afternoon, Kansas Wesleyan at 2, and Rockhurst at 7. Tigers picked 8th in the MIAA preseason coaches poll. And cross country opens up their year at the JK Gold Classic. That'll be hosted by Wichita State. That'll take place Saturday morning in Wichita. Tiger women picked 3rd in the MIAA coaches preseason poll. The men are picked to finish 8th. So a lot going on. Of course, football, as we said, on the road here for week number 2. Actually, it's technically week 1, second game of the year at CSU Pueblo. You can join the program. If you have a question you want to send to us and ask the coach, you can do so by going to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, fhsuathletics.com. You'll see a fans tab on the top. Click on that. You'll get a drop down. Then you'll see toward the bottom over on the right side, Tiger Talk Ask the Coach. And if we use your question, a chance to win a T-shirt, Mix 103 Tiger Radio T-shirt. We did have a couple of questions sent in to us over the weekend. We'll get to those a little bit later on in the program, and we'd certainly love to hear from you. Tiger Talk brought to you in part today by Golden Belt Bank. It's banking one story at a time. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them online, goldenbeltbank.com. We will take a time out. When we return, we'll hear from head coach Chris Brown. He'll join us next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
We had a guy that came into the bank. His dream was to own a restaurant. He was turned down from multiple banks, and upon coming in here, having a prior knowledge of who he was, we reviewed his business plan, we talked to him, and we felt strongly that we wanted to join him in this adventure. Ever since we joined with him, he has been very, very successful. It's just really nice to be able to be a part of somebody's dreams. Golden Belt Bank, one story at a time.
Three receivers far side. They hand it off to Jaden Jones, and he is wrapped up and taken down. Jacoby Wilson again, the redshirt junior from Chicago, Illinois. That's going to be a tackle for loss at the 25-yard line. And some of the action from last Thursday night, Tigers home opener in front of a big crowd at Lewis Field. Unfortunately, didn't quite turn out the way everybody wanted. 28-7, the 13th-ranked Rams get the victory. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, joined by head coach Chris Brown. And obviously not the start everybody wanted against a really good foe. Just curious, your overall thoughts. You've had a little bit of time to look at it now, and I know you flushed that and you're focusing on Thursday's game at CSU Pueblo. But as you look back at that game, just your overall thoughts on the season opener.
I just didn't feel like we played the Tiger team. We weren't the Tigers that we normally usually are, and we played physical at times, and at times we didn't. I feel like we didn't really play to win the game, but we're playing not to lose the game as well. But that's things we got to work on. I mean, gave up some big plays defensively, didn't really make any explosive plays offensively as well. And the pieces are there. We just got to put it all together. It just seemed like we were just off just a little bit, in that game. So hopefully we got that corrected this week in practice. So we got one more today and off to Pueblo tomorrow. But I just feel like that we weren't all in sync across the board. And I feel like the energy was quite there like it normally is as well. Crowd was amazing, though. They really, truly were trying to get us, pumped up and get us energized. We just didn't play Tiger football. Yeah,
they were trying. That was a great crowd of over 6,000, almost 6,100. And unfortunately, one of those games didn't have a whole lot for them to cheer about. But that being said, I mean, you were hanging in that game, and obviously it was a struggle. And against a really good defense. And I think you need to credit Angelo for some of that. And you look back, you had a chance to score. You got in the red zone and then weren't able to get points. The fumble kind of thwarted that. You score there to have been interesting. You put a little pressure. You got it to a one-possession game. There was still time left. That was obviously a key play in the game, not being able to punch it in when you got it inside the red zone.
Yeah, it is. That's when we get in there, we got to punch it in the end zone, and we got to get some type of points off of it somehow, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, in that situation. But probably the thing that upset me, but the thing that probably upset me the most is, we threw an interception, we let them score. We fumbled, we let them score. We gave up a big, punt return, we let them score. And that's something we can't do as a defense. We got to either make them punt or kick a field goal or something like that. So we got to eliminate those things, the turnover part of it, and then the big returns. Then defensively, we got to stop those guys when it's a change of possession or big impact play in the game like that.
I'm not going to use it as an excuse, but we talked about it last week, especially the back end of the defense, very inexperienced, and Keon Turner goes down with an ankle injury in the first quarter. He's the one guy who had a little bit of experience coming back on the back end. How much do you attribute some of those big plays to that youth? And I guess how do you work on alleviating that from this point forward?
Me, I'm not a guy of excuses, right?
Yep.
So we got to get better in the back end. I felt like we were playing just a little bit too aggressive, biting up on the run, and when they were doing play action, not seeing all the trick plays that they did to us as well, which, there's like 4 or 5 of those during that game as well. You can only throw so many at them at practice. We threw a bunch of them this week at practice as well, but it just comes down to eye discipline and staying back and doing your job and doing your assignment. And, guys are just kind of out of position on some of those plays, and we got beat on a few of them as well, but we just got to do a better job. But I think they got their feet wet. They're used to game tempo now. They're used to being in those situations now, hopefully, after one game. And hopefully they're better this week.
Angelo, it was interesting because they list two quarterbacks on their depth chart, and they have a third guy. All 3 played. 2 of them played as running back, and they ran a few trick plays, throwing it out of that. And you mentioned, there's only so much you can do in preparation, but it made it interesting when they basically had at times 2 and 3 quarterbacks on the field. I think there was a couple times they had all 3 of them out there, 2 at running back and then the main quarterback. Obviously, there's a lot of options for a team to do stuff out that way.
No, tons. You just got to scream out to your players, the personnel and who's on the field and who to look out for. And, when those situations arise, and just knowing who's in the game expects something. So you got to play just a little bit softer so we don't give up some type of big play. So we're communicating it, and I'm seeing it, but the plays they had off of it were pretty good, especially the jet sweep with the quarterback was really impressive. Our guys wanted to rally to him and make the tackle, but of course they had a guy going down the seam for the touchdown, and just different things like that. But we just got to be a little more patient, understand the situation. I know our guys wanted to be physical, wanted to be aggressive, wanted to attack, but there's times to really attack and time to be, you got to be smart and be safe and understand who's on the field and understand the situation.
And I imagine as a coach that becomes a bit of the challenge. You want to be aggressive, as you said, you want to play physical, but it has to be a controlled physicality and controlled aggression in the sense that you still got to read the play in front of you.
Yeah, you do. It's all about doing your job, doing your assignment, having great eye discipline, reading your keys, those type of things, and then, really seeing the mesh point and seeing how things are developing, and it's a feel. I mean, sometimes you don't really see the play, but you just feel the play and how it's kind of developing. So we got to get a better feel than what we had last week, and I think our kids have done that this week.
You hear that a lot on the offensive line, and veteran groups that have played together, just knowing what the other guy is going to do. Is it that way on the back end of the defense as well, with the Bandits, the Rovers, the safeties, the corners? Is it kind of a similar situation?
It is. Just the more film they watch together, the more they get to know each other as well, and you start to fill things out as the game goes on, as things kind of develop. You'll kind of know where receivers are going to be at, what depth they're going to be at as well, and you can always feel a guy coming at you, or just kind of have that awareness of where guys are at. So we just weren't real good at that on last Thursday. But we've worked on some of those things this week, just being more disciplined, being a little bit more patient, and then when you actually know and see it and see how it's developed, now let's go make the plays.
How do you feel this team has responded after a game like that? Because it's always, you win a game, maybe don't play well, you can use it as a teaching point, but you still won a game. Sometimes you lose a game, the Daubers are down a little bit, it takes a while to overcome it. How did this team respond?
They did well. They're not happy with the outcome. They've come to work this week. I've seen more guys, upstairs watching film than we ever have. We had a bunch last week against, Angela, and there's been more guys this week just with the holiday and not having school. Guys have been up watching film together as well. So they prepared well. Practices have been good. They've worked their tails off. They're trying to get better, doing the things they need to do to improve, just not their game, but the whole entire team's game, and understand the importance of offense, defense, and special teams all working together. But there's been a lot of competition. Guys have really been competing and getting after it and doing the things they can to win this ball game.
Well, that's one thing you talked about on the program last week, the depth really at every position. And I guess this is those situations that pays off, because you got guys, hey, they want to start, they want to play too and get on the field. And just because you started one week doesn't mean there's a guarantee the next week. That competition, pushing those starters, that just makes the team better.
It does. You might see a few new faces, this week on both sides of the ball. So, but that's competition. That's guys want to step up and be the guy. So we talk about it all the time, compete, and you might be that guy. And maybe you do have a starter, but you never know when you're going to be in, because he might go down with a cramp or some type of injury. And those kids stepped in. I thought they did a decent job. Now it's just, I think the experience is fine. We don't have it, but after one game, we need to have that experience ready to roll.
Well, the Tigers are going to get another tough test on Thursday night, maybe even a better opponent, CSU Pueblo, playoff team 2 of the last 3 years. We'll talk more about the Thunder Wolves a little bit later on in the program. Again, you can join us, chime in with a question, go to the FHSU Athletics webpage, click on Fans tab. You'll get the drop down. You'll see Tiger Talk, Ask the Coach, and if we use your question, a chance to win a T-shirt. We got a couple of questions that were emailed into us over the weekend. We'll get to those a little bit later on in the program. And we'll also have a player guest coming up here shortly. We'll do another segment with Coach Brown. We're going to bring Gavin Hazelhorse in, the former Hayes Eye Indian. Had a nice start to the season on Thursday night. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI. They're your full-service John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. We'll take another break. More Tiger Talk on the way here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PWC from Eagle.
At BTI, we pride ourselves on providing quality John Deere equipment and customer support. Since 1944, BTI has been serving farmers and commercial operators with mowers, tractors, and compact construction equipment at an affordable price. As a leader in the ag industry, BTI offers complete technology solutions so our farmers can help keep America running. Experience the BTI difference for yourself.
Call on BTI.
Our family in partnership with your family.
Over to throw, steps into the pocket, being chased, he's going down. Run down from behind, Parrish Terry. Boy, it's good to see him back on the field after that remarkable freshman campaign. He battled injuries, missed 7 games a year ago, gets a sack, the first of the game, back at the 29-yard line. Now, there were some bright spots on Thursday night. 7 tackles for loss, I believe, and 4 sacks in the game for the Tiger defense. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. A reminder that you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop. That's where you'll find hundreds of products and designs, and everything is customizable. That's FHSUathletics.com. Click on Shop and open up the Tiger Team Store. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, our second program of the year with head football coach Chris Brown. Tigers coming off a season-opening loss to Angelo State, now gearing up to take on another nationally ranked foe in their first road game this Thursday night in Pueblo against CSU Pueblo. Let's talk about Parrish Terry. We heard the highlights. Good to see him back there. He's such a vital role, stepped up because of injury as a true freshman and had a great campaign. I think it was third team all-conference. Last year, he battled his back and some different injuries. He's back, and some of the reason you guys have some depth on that defensive line. Good to see him get involved and make some nice plays on Thursday night.
It is. I mean, he just plays like a wild man. I mean, I think every one of those defensive linemen play like wild men. They're strong, they're fast, they're physical, they're aggressive. And they just play hard. I mean, and that's a good thing. We got a good number of them that we can rotate in and out. And, Parrish is a big part of that. Gavin's a big part of it as well. And you saw Jacoby make some great plays, and then adding Jalen Williams to the package as well. And, we're still a few short with some injuries, but they'll be hopefully back next week. But Coach Hickle's done a good job with that group, and those guys really play hard, and they feed off each other and make a lot of plays.
I want to ask about the offense a little bit. It was obviously a struggle. I think you had run 13 plays without total plays without a first down. It was like 3 or 4 possessions. Then you put together a scoring drive that went 12 plays, got you on the board, got you back in the game. It just felt like it was a struggle to find any consistency on offense. They showed signs, and then it was a struggle.
Yeah, there were signs. The number one thing is we have to establish our run game, and that's something that we did not do. We had Shane Watts. We were able to establish it and make manageable, second and third down situations, and we really weren't able to do that on Thursday. But, there's signs there. We've got tremendous players. The offensive line did a pretty good job. We just got to see the holes as backs and hit those holes and get vertical and make those situations manageable on second and third down. Caleb, a little bit of pressure, then there wasn't. Sometimes he got a little bit antsy and got out of the pocket when he wasn't supposed to. But, and also our receivers, they were really good at getting sticky on our receivers, and we got to find ways to get open. But, it was disappointing on both sides of the ball. I think offensively we could have done a few extra things and made a few extra plays, but the number one thing is we just got to get that run game going.
And you mentioned that. I know we've talked about this in years past. It's easy to blame the offensive line when the running game struggles, but sometimes it's more than that. I remember a few years ago, I don't remember who the backs were, but you kept saying, hey, the offensive line's doing a pretty good job. Our running backs have to see the hole and maybe be more patient, and they did that. And even Shane for a stretch there when he made that shift, and then when he became a little more patient, let it develop, he really shot off his junior campaign, and then obviously had the great senior year. Is it a little bit of combination of all of that? Offensive line, running backs, and everything involved in that?
I think so. Right now, I thought the offensive line at times got some movement. At times it was kind of a stalemate, and at times the back just, they weren't seeing the hole properly because it was there. And it's just understanding the blocking scheme and all those things with the backs, knowing who's going to come off. And, I really told them this week, you need to watch film with your offensive linemen. So they can explain to you how they're going to block, where they're going to double off to, who's coming off, when they're coming off, and being ready to hit that seam, when it's there. And, we also got to get them involved in the pass game because I think that helps tremendously as well. And then, their pass protection was really pretty good. I mean, there's a few times that, they got to Caleb, but I mean, for the most part, it was, they protected him pretty well, and our receivers just didn't get open. So, we worked on all those things this week. We'll be back. We just hopefully those running backs really step up this week, find the hole, hit it vertical, and get us in some manageable, second and third situations.
Yeah, I think Caleb was sacked twice, but I think on both of those, he had plenty of time. There was just nobody open. Eventually, he had to eat it and just couldn't find anybody downfield.
Yeah, that's, when we're scrambling, we got to get into our scramble rules and do our job. I saw a couple guys, sometimes we're just kind of standing around. Saw a few that were out of bounds when we can't catch a ball out of bounds, and we practice those things every day in practice. I just think the lights came on and ours might have shut off just a little bit, but hopefully we got that underneath us now. This one game doesn't define who we are as a football team. I think we are a really good football team. I think we're going to win some football games, and we just got to learn from this and move on from it, and go get a W this week.
A couple of the new faces at the receiving corps. We'll start with Ethan Hilleman, the big 6'4" product, had the lone touchdown catch. That was an impressive catch. It looked like he could have been interfered with, but showed his size and his strength and his ability to go up and catch the ball, and seemed like after he made that catch, he really loosened up and had a pretty nice night.
He did. That was a tremendous catch. You don't see many guys make that catch. It's an NFL catch, right? And he pulled it in, pretty easily. Just went over the guy, called it, and kept his feet in bounds, and made a great play. He's still just trying to learn the offense a little bit. I mean, because it's pretty difficult, learn the receiver spots and the concepts and all those things. But he's starting to really, pick those things up. The only thing I could probably say about him is, after the catch on the short yardage ones, 5 yards, he needs to go get 10 yards out of it, break that tackle, and because you're a big, strong, physical kid. You have some power, you have some strength, you got some speed. Let's break those tackles and go score touchdowns.
Another guy, Tariq Logan, he's been in the program, didn't get on the field last year, but UCO transfer, pretty good size. I think he had one catch in the ball game. New to playing for the Tigers, but one of those new guys who looks like he could step in and have a pretty nice role this year.
He could. I mean, he's got tremendous speed. He runs really good routes. Hands are really solid as well. Probably the biggest thing he has is his speed. I mean, he's really fast and he can go. And you saw him at one time. We got behind the defender and we got the pass interference in the end zone, and that's just him using his speed and get behind guys. So we got to continue to use that. He still needs to get better each week. And again, he knows our offense pretty well, and make the catches when he's called to make it, and again, it's breaking tackles, right? We can't let one guy bring us down, and I think that's something that happened a lot on Saturday. We're getting arm tackled. The first guy brought us down. We weren't breaking those tackles and getting the extra yards.
And as we know with Coach McCray, it's more than just catching. I mean, you got to run precise routes, but the blocking on the run game, blocking on the pass game, that is what has made Fort Hays State receivers so good over the years, and the offense good over the years. And for some, I'm sure it's been a process to figure all that out, but if you want to play, you better do it.
Yeah, you better block. If you're not playing if you can't block for Coach McCray, and I get it, right? Because it's doing your part, for the team. I mean, there's some things you don't like to do, and there's things that you really like to do, but you got to learn to get really good at the things you don't like to do, and that'll make you a tremendous football player. So blocking is one of those things. I know Ethan got the hole in on the one big run, and I was talking to the official, and if the back would have went inside instead of out, he probably wouldn't have called it.
No, those are tough, and sometimes those are tough judgment calls, but it went nonetheless and kind of thwarted a bit of a drive. I want to ask you about special teams because there's a lot of new faces out there. Let's start with the punting game. Logan Russell, the Ellis product, a redshirt freshman, probably called his name too often, more than you would like to do in a game, but seemed to do a pretty good job.
He did, and that's the one team, of course, I'm in charge of, so that makes you really nervous as a head coach, and when you got to send those guys out there, and a young man that has no experience, and, it was a battle all the week through practice with him and Zane and, Davidson and all these different guys trying to figure out who's going to be our guy, but Logan just kind of made me, his time, getting his get-off time was quicker than anybody else's, so I figured, okay, this is the guy I got to go with, and he did an excellent job. Our punt team did a great job except for the one big return, and even on that one, if we just do, one guy does his job properly, he forces him to the sideline, the guy's not able to get out and break, but we didn't. Ball hit the ground, it rolled, had a couple guys jog instead of just getting to it and picking it up, but Logan did an awesome job. Hopefully he does the same thing again this week, and changes his field position like he did.
And that's about Arriaga, the new kicker, redshirt freshman from Oklahoma State, didn't kick for the Cowboys. So, in his first kick's a 52-yarder right at the end of the half. No pressure at all. Left a little bit short, but kickoffs seem to be pretty decent. And he's a young man. Again, he's just a redshirt freshman. He's got a lot of football ahead of him. How do you think he did?
I think he did well. He could have made that one. I mean, his leg's strong enough to make that kick. You can see it as he approaches, as he doesn't hit it real well, and he's also lifting his head to, those kickers, they want to see if it's going in.
I like everyone's golf swing.
Yeah, the crowd will let you know. And but he's learning from it. I mean, week to week he's getting better for us. But his kickoffs are tremendous. I mean, he can get them up there high. I mean, they're 4 or 5 second hang times, and that's what you want to allow your covered team to get down there. And he can also put it out of the end zone as well. And he can do multiple kicks, pooch kicks, and things like that too. So very dynamic in what he can do. I'm glad we got him. Very powerful, very strong, and very athletic.
All right. Well, we'll certainly hopefully see him make some of those field goals as the year goes along. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, offering the most comprehensive and advanced orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Why travel hours when the best in the region is right here at Hayes Med? We're going to take a break. When we come back, our players segment. Hayes native Gavin Hazelhorst, the former Hayes High Indian, defensive end for the Tigers, wears number 8, will be our guest. We'll do that next as we continue here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Looking for unique flavor at low prices? Look no further than Taco Shop in Hayes. We have original, made-from-scratch Mexican food, sure to satisfy an empty stomach. Take a bite out of these delicious deals. Grab a beef or cheese enchilada, bite into a beef and bean burrito, or chow down on a Sancho. Save time with our free Taco Shop app. Have delicious fresh taste in just a few taps. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Taco Shop. You've never had it so good.
Come on down to the Taco Shop. You never had it. You never had it so good. The Taco Shop.
Ebner is the quarterback. Slaps the hands, takes the snap, throws downfield, looking for Hilleman, goes up, he hauls it in. They make it, yes! Touchdown! Fort Hays State. Ethan Hilleman, 6'4", 214 pounds out of Sacred Heart. His first catch as a Tiger is a 22-yard touchdown from Ebner. Yeah, it was a big play on Thursday night. Tigers get on the board with that Hillman catch. You heard us talk about him just a few moments ago. Reminder, you can sync the radio broadcast with the MIAA Network video feed. Listen to us on the TuneIn app, and then pause either the video or the audio. Usually the video may be running just a little bit ahead. Pause it until the opening kickoff, and when the audio catches up, you're synced, and you can listen to the radio play-by-play along with the MIAA Network. Thursday's game is on the RMAC Network. It's not a part of your MIAA package if you subscribe to the MIAA Network to watch the game, so this will be different. You'll have to do the single game purchase for the RMAC Network since it's at an RMAC school. Well, time now for our players segment, and we're thrilled to have with us Gavin Hazelhorst. He wears number 8, former Hayes High standout, now Fort Hays State Tiger. Thanks for joining us this morning, Gavin. A tough start to the year, obviously, not the way that you wanted to go. I guess your overall thoughts on the defense and how you guys played against Angelo State.
I feel like as a D-line, we did really good, and if we build on that, we're going to be a special group, and we have to build on that and play good every week because we do have younger guys in the back end, and they will figure it out, but I think as a whole defense, we will figure it all out and be pretty dang good.
Yeah, I think I talked to you during camp and some of the other defensive linemen, and kind of the sentiment is if we do our job, they will have time to gain experience because if they're doing our job, it's going to be easier for them because we're going to make it tough for quarterbacks to throw the football.
Yes, sir.
And just talk about, you guys had 4 sacks. I think you had 7 tackles for loss. It looked like you got pretty good pressure against a team that can be pretty hard to defend with all the different looks and things they can do.
Yeah, I mean, those plays will come. We're doing our job and doing all we can do, so those plays will come.
Talk about the depth. We've talked a lot with Coach Brown about depth at every position, getting Parrish Terry back. I know it was kind of an injury to you where he emerged and got some big playing time as a freshman. Then he battled some injury. He's healthy. Not just the defensive end, but the entire defensive front. Just talk about the depth and how that helps get a player like you better knowing there's someone pushing you each and every week.
I mean, it makes us each like work as hard as we possibly can because we're wanting to outwork the person that's trying to outwork us. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just going in every week and pushing each other to be the best we can be.
And with that depth, it seemed like you were able to take a few more breaks maybe and get a series off or a few plays. Do you feel fresher? Did you feel fresher throughout the game, just knowing that there's some other guys who can step up and fill the role, and you guys just kind of a nice rotation going?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I had 2 drives off, and it actually helped a lot. So.
Visiting with Gavin Hazelhorst, our Tiger player spotlight and guest for today on Tiger Talk, former Hayes High Indian, wears number 8, as I'm sure you're well aware. Just talk about your journey to Fort Hays State. Obviously started at Kansas State, now you ended up at Tiger, and just being able to play in front of the home fans where you started in high school, and then just maybe your comfortability with the defense and just how your game has progressed over your time at Fort Hays State.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that brought me in right away, like Miles Menges. He brought me in. He was like an older brother to me, and made me really comfortable I was already my family's already from Hayes and all that, so I had the great fan base and stuff like that. But to come here and then have people like Miles make me super comfortable with the team and everything, it was awesome.
What are some of the areas that you feel you've really improved on in your time from when you first came here? Because you're, compared to some of the defensive ends, you're probably a little bit undersized, but I think you have an athleticism and a quickness advantage over a lot of guys, and that's what makes you and makes you so good. But what are some of the areas you've really focused on, and maybe areas you feel you've really improved on your game in the last year or two? I
would say footwork, hand placement, hand speed, strength, and just becoming a better leader for my teammates. And
what's it like? Okay, you're chasing your quarterback. There's a lot of very agile and mobile quarterbacks in the MIAA, and you play all year, but you're bearing down. You have a sack. I mean, what's going through your mind knowing, okay, he's going to probably try to put a move on me to try to get out of this, to go out and be physical and put on a hard hit, but yet not be out of control to where you miss that sack? What's going through your head when you're seeing those situations?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really think about it that much. I'm just out there trying to get the ball out of his hands.
And talk about playing against the run, against the pass, just trying to make the reads, using your eyes, seeing the play, and letting it develop. Is that something you've always been good at, or is that a skill you've kind of had to learn over time?
I definitely learned it over time, and this being my 5th year, it's really helped me a lot and helped slow the game of football down for sure.
And Coach Hickel being the defensive line coach, you played for him when he was at Hayes High School. That had to make things a lot easier, because I'm sure there's a lot of similar things that he does here at Fort Hays that he even did when he was at Hayes High.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And Coach Hickel is just an amazing coach, and he knows how to coach each and every one of his players to a certain way, and he's just, I can't say how amazing he is. No.
And I think I talked to you at camp a little bit. Gavin Myers, another guy, went to K-State. He's in his first year, at 10 tackles to lead the team on Thursday night. What's it like being back together with him? Because you two, when you were at Hayes High, you guys wreaked havoc around opponents. You were a pretty good 1-2 punch on defense. It's kind of 2.0 version. What's it like having him on the field and you guys getting the team up again this year?
Man, it's amazing. I mean, he's one of my best friends, so getting back on the field with him after so many years is awesome, and being able to go make plays together for this defense.
Gavin Hazelhorst, our player guest here today. You touched on family and friends. You're from here. I know at the scrimmage, I saw your daughter up there, and she was being passed around, trying to. A lot of people wanted to come and say hi. It's being a dad. How does that change things for you, for school and for football and all of those things with some more priorities now?
Yeah, I mean, I can't have a bad day. If I have a bad day, I go home and I'm smiling. She's smiling at me. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So it's kind of just an amazing thing. And it makes me play football to my full potential, because I got something else to play for now, too.
And I would imagine, too, I mean, it does kind of get you the right temperament. And as you said, maybe gives you a little bit more motivation. But, sometimes, obviously, everybody wants to do well, and Fort Hays State wants to win games. But sometimes being able to escape, and imagine your daughter allows you to do that, might be the best thing to happen sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I want to ask you before we let you go 2 things. First, ask you about this week's opponent, Colorado State Pueblo, ranked 6th in the country, a playoff team a year ago, obviously an equally good, if not better team you're going to play this Saturday or this Thursday, and it's going to be on the road. What are the big challenges facing you guys on the defensive side against this Pueblo team?
I mean, it's a pretty good quarterback. It's a really good team in general. So, I mean, we're going to have to bring it and fix the little things we messed up on this week, and I think we're fixing a lot of those things in practice and make tackles, and when your name's called, go make a play.
It felt like, we talk about the inexperience, but a lot of the issues that maybe occurred are very correctable. And we always hear a lot of improvement week 1 and week 2, but it felt like a lot of things can be fixed and fixed relatively quickly for guys. You kind of see it that way?
Yeah, I mean, that was the good thing about the loss is all the things we messed up on are fixable. So get those things corrected, and I think we'll be just fine.
All right, should be a fun one. All right, we're new segment when we bring a player on is Ask the Coach, and we're going to bring Coach Chris Brown back up here. But it's your chance to ask Coach Brown anything you want to know, anything maybe about his playing days, his coaching, who knows, whatever the case may be. You get a chance to ask Coach, ever get that untangled there? Ask Coach Brown a question. I think Caleb Heavner last week asked, and not surprising, how many games he played with a broken neck. We learned some new stuff about Coach. So, Gavin Hazelhorst, the floor is yours. Your turn to ask Coach Brown anything you've always wanted to ask him.
Okay.
Be smart about it.
I mean, yeah, you got to remember, you got practice later today.
What is your career high in tackles, and who was it against?
Career high, I believe it was against the Jacksonville Gamecocks in the National Championship game my freshman year. I believe it was 21 tackles. Some say 22. I think it was 21.
You think it was 21?
Yeah,
wow.
But I'll take 22.
You'll take 22.
On there.
Good question.
And
I'm you surprised he knows? Of course he knows that stat. Did you know when you played?
No, I had no clue.
You found out.
Well, I got knocked out in that game, so.
That kind of ties back to our question.
I got knocked out with.
Maybe the better how many concussions? Because back then you just got your bell rung, you kept playing. It's not like it is now.
0 concussions.
Well, you technically were never
diagnosed, I guess.
Well, because I remember Fort Hays, they played 2 years in a row. We talked about him and Coach Harris played together, and we went down to Pittsburgh, and you guys rolled the Tigers, and I swear the PA was either tackled by Chris Brown or tackled by Cooper Harris. It's like, God, do they have anybody else on this team? And it's kind of funny. They're your coaches now.
Yep.
All right, Gavin, great question. 21, maybe 22. We'll have to go check it and see it officially, but that's a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game until I got knocked out.
Until you got knocked out.
Don't even remember the flying home. Don't remember any of that stuff. So it happens.
Folks, that's the way he sometimes coaches on the sideline, the way he is. Gavin, hey, we appreciate you joining us here this morning. It's been a pleasure to watch you play, and looking forward to another big season. See number 8 flying out there in the field. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
There you go, Gavin Hazelhorst. Where's number 8? He's our player guest here on Tiger Talk. It's brought to you by United Rentals of Hays, your partner for equipment, rental, sales, and service. Whether it's big or small, you'll find it all at United Rental in Hays. We'll take a break. More from Coach Chris Brown as we continue on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle. For the throw, steps up in the pocket, eludes a tackle, there's a deep downfield, and it's going to be, it's intercepted. Fort Hays State picks it off. Michael Chavez. We had to wait for the signal.
His interception by the defense. First down.
Pass was intended for Anthony Jones, and Michael Chavez, the interception. Yeah, nice play there. We had to wait. We couldn't tell. Did he have it? Did the receiver have it? But then it was confirmed an interception, and that was a big play. Tigers set up the long field goal that they missed right before halftime, and that was a nice stop for Fort Hays State. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It is brought to you in part today by the Taco Shop. You can order by phone. Use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Just east of the Fort Hays State campus on 8th Street, the Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. We've confirmed, by the way, 21 tackles. I think 10 assisted, 11 unassisted, or maybe in the other way, but pretty good day. To 10 tackles what we saw Gavin Myers have is a big day. The game has changed, so numbers like that are hard to come by. Back then, I think the running game more prevalent. The passing game wasn't quite like we see it is now, but obviously that was a pretty big game on a pretty big stage.
I was just a safety that was really a linebacker probably,
right,
more than anything else. So the run game was so more prevalent back then than it is now, and I mean it still is now, but the RPOs and all those things that go into it, and the receivers have changed tremendously since then as well. I did play against Rod Smith though, and he tore me up, so I knew I was just a linebacker, not a safety then.
All right, real quick on Gavin Hazelhorst. Really fun. I have the players come on each and every week. We appreciate you getting them to join us, and he's a young man who's come so far. He's always been talented. You got to watch him play when he was at Hayes High School, and got him back after the year at K-State, and he's a little bit undersized maybe at defensive end, but he's so quick and athletic. We really saw that on display on Thursday night and all of last year. Good to see him healthy and making plays, but just another piece of that defensive front four that I thought played really, really well, and he was a big part of that.
Yeah, I just wish I could get those guys instead of walking on the K-State. We could get them from the get-go, so we get them here from the get-go. They might even be better than what they are now, but I mean, he's a tremendous young man. I mean, he's a great kid, great father. I mean, he just does very well in school, just does everything right. He's a continuous workhorse in the weight room and on the football field, but that's a kid that plays hard every single play. He doesn't take a snap off. Doesn't matter if he's playing 60 plays, 80 plays, 20 plays. That kid's going to play hard every single play. I mean, he's making plays across the field that he should not make, but he's making them. But he's not as big as everybody else, but his strength is tremendous. His speed is tremendous. His quickness is tremendous, and he's got a great punch, that allows him to get off those offensive linemen and go make plays.
Had a good question for the coach as well. Speaking of question, we've had a couple of them emailed into us. Again, we appreciate folks doing that. Go to the FHSU Athletics website. There's a fans tab. You click on that, you get the drop down, and you'll see Tiger Talk Ask the Coach. The first one, kind of off the field. Coach, the question, the House versus NCAA class action lawsuit, primarily involving Division I athletics and athletic departments. How does that settlement affect Division II? How has it affected your program positively and negatively? Has there been it is more for the Division I level, but have you seen any effects of the Division II? I imagine the portal and things like that have been a bigger effect.
They have. I mean, I think when the 105 really takes into effect, that will help us tremendously, because some of those kids were still grandfathered in, so that they're actually still there. But I think when that takes into effect, we will get some more of those kids that should be at our level, and we won't have those kids walking on at those schools as well. But it's just a whole mess right now. I just wish we get back to the old ways of just playing football and kids staying where they needed to stay and being committed to that program, because all the bouncing around, a lot of those kids get shuffled and lost and never end up playing the game of football again, or really never ever step on the field again. So hopefully we can get this thing figured out and keep kids, maybe they can transfer once, but not as many times as they possibly can, because I just think kids are getting lost in the shuffle and not becoming their best and not graduating from college.
How much do you find yourself after a season recruiting your own players to see who's going to come back with the portal, and then obviously looking at the portal for ways you can help your team get better, plus the regular recruiting the traditional way? It's
usually just maybe one kid or two. I mean, to me, just you got to build the relationship with the young man first. If you don't have a true relationship with them and get to know who they are and get to know their families and have good conversations with them and all those things, then I mean, yeah, a kid's going to want to leave. But I think if you really build that relationship and they build it with their teammates as well, and you show your commitment to them and they're committed to this team, I think it's kind of hard for kids to leave sometimes. But sometimes, Cure was a good example, a young man that was a very talented kid that ended up transferring to KU, and now he's getting some playing time, which when you look at Cure, he's a D1 kid. When you just look at his size, his build, his speed, his strength. I mean, that was a kid that, we had a good relationship. We had a good bond. We had a good conversation, and he was talking about it. But it was one of those things, like, I do think you have that potential to go on. And if I think a kid doesn't, I'm going to have that honest conversation with him as well, that he's making a mistake and that he needs to stay here home.
All right. Well, it's some interesting talk, and yeah, the 105 roster probably the biggest effect on all of Division II. We've seen it. Just look at other schools' rosters. You see some D1 guys who probably were a part of that that for whatever reason have left before the even if they would have been grandfathered in. All right. Another question. It's kind of interesting. Home game, Angelo, last Thursday. Lone Star Conference school officiating. They're asking, was it a crew from the MIAA? It was, because we recognize the name. Is it? And you'll go on the road Thursday. You'll face CSU Pueblo on the road. I'm assuming that'll be an RMAC crew. Is it the home team? Is it it's basically going to be a crew from their conference?
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. And the next year when we go to Angelo, it'll be a Lone Star, officiating crew as well. So, it's the home teams. Eventually, we'll get RMAC guys this week, and it'll be different, right? Because I'm so used to MIAA guys, and now going to go to a different place. And I know these MIAA guys really, really well. We can have good conversations. I hope I get those same conversations, when we go to Pueblo and play them.
Well, Manu is a white hat. It's good to see. I mean, he's one of your favorite guys, and he's evolved, different positions, and now he's a crew chief in a white hat, and he's one of the great guys. I think he was here for your scrimmage even to be a part of that, to officiate that. That was a pretty decent crew. I am interested to see, and this is no knock on officiating, but in the MIAA they let you play, especially on the back end. I mean, there's always a lot of holding and grabbing, and it's got to be pretty blatant to get a pass interference or a defensive hold. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Pueblo with the different conference, how they call that, and how your team maybe has to adjust to that a little bit because of what generally is allowed in the MIAA.
Oh, it's across the board. They let us play here. I mean, there's offensive holding. We always say it's holding, but offensive guys say there's no holding at all. So that's just kind of how it works. But it is. They let us play football unless it's just completely blatant that needs to be called, and they let it play out and let guys play football. And I don't know how this is going to be when we get there. You're watching their film. There's a lot of flags being thrown, on the field when you're watching all these, the film that we have on them, and you're like, man, I didn't really see much there, but I guess they saw something. So we'll have to fill it out, see how they allow us to play, and if they just let us play, they play. But if we got to change some things, we'll change some things. All right, I'm not going to change who we are now and how we play the game.
Well, we appreciate the questions. Keep them coming in. We love to hear answer some of the things you have on your mind. Some good stuff again today, and we appreciate the folks sending in questions for the program today. Tiger Talk brought to you by Royal Roofing, the #1 local roofing company. Roofing, guttering, siding, and windows. Call today for a free estimate. Give your home the Royal treatment with Royal Roofing. We will take one final break. We'll preview Thursday night. We're just a couple of days away from game day. 4-Day State at CSU Pueblo. We'll do that next here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Tired of equipment that's seen better days? Or maybe you have a project that requires a bigger machine than you own. This is Blake from United Rentals in Hayes, and we have you covered. Whether you're a contractor, a farmer, or working on your own project, we've got the machinery you need. Big or small, and everything in between, you can rent it for a day, a week, or a month. And if you're looking to own, we have a huge inventory of reliable used equipment for sale. Plus, we can service and repair the equipment you already own. Stop by United Rentals on South Vine in Hayes. We're your one-stop shop for rentals, used equipment sales, and repairs.
Rams are 5 for 9 on third down. They need 2 right here from their own 41. Fuller under pressure, steps up in the pocket, under duress, and he's sacked. Back on the 31-yard line, Jalen Williams, the transfer from UT Permian Basin, former Dodge City Community College conquistador. Yeah, we talked about Jalen, big guy, big number 99. That was a nice play. The defensive line did play pretty well on Thursday night. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI, your full-service John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. Tigers at CSU Pueblo Thursday night. These two teams used to be conference rivals back in their 4-Day State's first stint in the RMAC. Then they were in it again. CSU Pueblo did not have football then. They reinstated it, and boy, ever since they've reinstated it, they've had 8 or more wins in 13 of 16 seasons, playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. They were national runner-up, one of those in their recent history. Good program. Coach Philip Vigil, their head coach. Obviously, you know him well. He was an assistant for 4 years at 4-Day State, the quarterback's coach. Chance Fuller is an assistant on the offensive side and the quarterback's coach for them. them. So there's a lot of ties between the two. This will be an interesting game on Thursday night.
It will be. You know, we know each other pretty well. He knows what we do defensively, kind of knows what we do offensively. I know kind of what he does offensively as well. And their defense is a little bit changed. It's just kind of similar to ours, but, you know, they're going to stack the box with, you know, 8 guys out the line of scrimmage and all of a sudden drop off and be in zone coverage. They're going to bring a lot of pressure. So, you know, we just got to let it play out, read our keys, see what's happening. They like to roll the defensive backs back quite a bit, play some cover 3, play a little cover 4 as well. But, you know, it'll be a good test for us. They're a good football team, especially defensively. I mean, they make a lot of things happen. Then offensively, you know, they're going to try to establish the run game and get their best wide receiver involved as well. I mean, he's a tremendous player. He got the year back with the NCAA, but the kid can run. He's big. He's physical. You know, we got to know where he's at the whole time.
Yeah, second game in a row, you're going to face a Fuller at quarterback. Those two aren't related. He is Chance's cousin.
Yep.
Started his career at Tulsa and kind of makes that offense go a little bit. He's got a good receiving core and just all around just a solid program.
It is. I mean, he's a great quarterback. I mean, he sees things very well. He reads defenses very well. Sits in the pocket. O-line does a good job protecting him as well. And you know, he reads out his keys and he finds out where the open guy is. And you know, he's a headsy guy, and just like Chance was as well when he was here. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full. I mean, they got skill across the board. They're big up front, and you know, we got to go in there and play some Tiger football.
It'll be interesting to, you know, they graduated 21 seniors, mainly on the defensive side, but they still have 19 guys on their 2-deep who have some sort of all-conference recognition, either in the RMAC or the Lone Star. They've got several Midwestern transfers and transfers from other programs. They have 19 guys in the 2-deep with all-conference recognition. That's kind of all you need to know, the quality of players they line up.
You know, they're talented across the board, defensively, offensively. Special teams are very good as well. You know, we just gotta go in there and play our game, and that's something that we didn't do last week. We didn't really play our game. Like I said, I felt like we played a little bit timid, playing not to lose instead of just playing to win and getting after people the way I want our kids to play. But it's going to be a tough test for us. I mean, they're number 6 in the country for a reason, and that reason is because they're pretty darn good.
First road game, and it's a new opponent on the road. Obviously, we mentioned you've never played them in football, certainly in recent football history. Anybody involved? How does it, just your first road game and the challenges of that, and then it's a whole new environment for even the returners who've been on these road games before?
Yeah, I think we're going to do meetings tomorrow morning, and then load the bus, travel out there. I'm going to practice at Rampart High School where Kel Corman is from, just to kind of get used to the altitude a little bit and get our kids kind of adjusted, and then you know, hotel rooms like we always do, and then we'll travel about an hour. We're going to stay in the Springs area and drive down to Pueblo next day since it's a 6 o'clock kickoff.
All right, sounds good. Coach, as always, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Monday. We'll get back on a Monday routine. It'll be nice to get back to a Monday routine and a Saturday routine for football, but looking forward to the big showdown a couple of nights in Pueblo against CSU Pueblo.
Sounds great. Thanks, Gerard. I appreciate you, man.
There you go. Chris Brown, head coach of the Tigers. Again, that's a 7 o'clock Central Time kick, 6 o'clock local, Fort Hays State CSU Pueblo. Live from Pueblo. We'll have our coverage here on the Tiger Sports Network and Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 beginning at 6 o'clock with the Auto World pregame. That's going to wrap up the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep those questions coming in. We'll see you Monday. Next Monday, we'll be back to Monday routine here on Tiger Talk. So long, everyone.